Welcome to Recruiting Intel on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm Joe Cook. It's Coach Dub. That's Justin Wells. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And, of course, if I click on the right thing, head to InsideTexas.com. That's the first link in our description. Sign up for just $1. You join the Best Texas Longhorns website. Be a part of the Best Texas Longhorns community. We'll also throw in a full year of access to the Athletic as well. And, Justin, night game at DKR on Saturday. Had some visitors there. Kind of the last opportunity for Texas to host recruits in Austin for a while. And there were some big names, some surprising names, but some big names nonetheless who made their way to the 40 acres.
Yeah, Texas decided to kind of have a big shindig with recruiting since they're not going to be back on campus for 5 or 6 weeks. They invited a lot of guys, a lot of commitments, but really the important ones were the flip targets. You had Jalen Lott out of Frisco Panther Creek. And then you had Braylon Hodge, linebacker out of Cherry Creek out in Colorado. Gunnar Helms, hometown, committed to Michigan State. He was there as well. And so to me, that was and there were some really good 2027s. You had the number one quarterback. You had one of the top offensive linemen. And a couple other pretty big name 2027s. And so, but really it starts and ends with Jalen Lott and Braylon Hodge, and really Jalen Lott, because we knew Hodge was coming in. Lott, that information popped up via Steve Wilfong on Saturday morning. And so that one was a new one.
And this is one where we're still gathering a good amount of info on it. Charlie, I know we're going to try to get more info from Lott specifically over the course of the next few days. But this is one where we hadn't heard a ton on Lott ever since his Oregon commitment. We've always talked about how Texas is a staff that stays on guys and doesn't let up and maintains communication. And if you want evidence of that, well, Jalen Lott on the sidelines of DKR on Saturday is a good piece of evidence for it.
Yeah, definitely. It's like we had talked about. Texas doesn't let up on guys, man, for good reason, though. Lott started off this season. I think he has 10 or 11 touchdowns to start the season. For good reason. This is why you continue to recruit this guy, no matter if he is committed to Oregon. You got great relationships in the DFW. Texas is one of the staffs that was on him, early, even though they had to switch with Coach Terry Joseph going to the Saints. Chris Jackson jumped in, and Orphan, and everybody still was on him recruiting. And so we know Coach Sarkisian is never going to give up on a top recruit that he wants. And if Texas wants you, well, everybody else better stick to you hold your guns, because Texas is definitely going to come after a lot. So I'm glad he made it back to the 40 acres, but I can't wait to go see him in person here tomorrow, man. I can't wait to get to Panther Creek and just kind of pick his brain and what he thought about the visit and his relationship with Texas.
Justin, do you think he put up some ridiculous stats? I think, Coach, you mentioned it's 24 catches and 11 touchdowns or something like that. You think maybe they looked at the start of the season, both maybe for their own wide receivers, not necessarily guys in the 2026 class, but on the roster, and looked at a lot and said, we've been working really hard on this guy. Let's keep working harder.
I don't know if they said we've been working really hard on this guy. I think they saw what they have in the wide receiver room, which is young and inexperienced, but has a little bit of explosiveness. But there's not a lot of what Jalen Lott's doing on senior tape right now. He's scoring a touchdown almost one in every 2 catches. He is the definition of explosiveness. And I'm having to eat words because I always thought he was a corner, and this kid almost committed to Texas as a corner. So I completely understand it. But, man, this dude's a wide receiver. He can do both at the next level if he wants to. He's been phenomenal. So I don't think it's Texas as much as, let's amp it up. I think it's more of they looked at their room. They looked at what he's putting on tape. And 2 + 2 usually equals 4.
We'll keep going with another important prospect who was there on Saturday, and this is one of the most important prospects in Texas 2026 class. That is Derek Cooper. Oh, I lost it. Derek Cooper. Let me get it up on the screen, from Chaminade Madonna Prep out in Florida. And the Hurricanes had a chance and really tried to bring in a lot of different prospects for their own big game against Florida on Saturday night, one where they defeated the Gators. But instead of going to the stadium right down the street, Derek Cooper takes his official visit to Austin. Justin gets at Terry Black's barbecue and gets to see why he committed to the Longhorns.
Yeah, and so he set this visit right after, the day after the Notre Dame Miami game. This was something he had been talking about for a while, talked about it before his commitment, talked about it after his commitment. But here's the new little twist. One, I think he feels like he's home. Like, sometimes you can judge I'm going to come back to living rent free because I ain't eating words on Nick Brooks yet. You got to learn a pass protection before I'm eating anything there, dude. And I thought Brooks was a guard anyway. Derek Cooper, like, that family had a good time.
They did.
Like, we see that, quite often with official visits. Like, it's Sark and those guys are really good. Those staffers are really good about making it kind of a family affair in a sense, as much as you can. And so if you saw how much fun his family was having, like Derek liked it, but Derek is pretty chill. His family was just, his mom was on top of the world. And I think that matters. But the news you need to know is that I don't think Miami's going to get him. And I don't think Miami's going to – I don't even know how much they're going to push after this weekend. They've actually got their eyes on a new target. Florida State is the school we need to watch because Florida State is looking at it like, okay, they've got a good relationship with the running back coach. He's had that for a while now. And Florida State feels like they have some momentum. And they're gonna try to tap into that, and they're gonna throw probably a pretty sizable NIL offer at him. But this is another example of out-of-state guys. You have to watch those commits that are out of state, but within the NIL era, I think it's a lot different. I mean, yeah, they can have a great visit at another school, but if the NIL doesn't match up to what they were talking about with that school they're committed to, they're not going to flip. It's a kind of a little bit of a different world, a different change. And so watch Florida State. I'm actually going to do a podcast tomorrow with the guys at War Chant, and we're going to be talking about Kavian Bryant, another top Florida State target. We're going to be talking about Derek Cooper and some other guys. But, guys, I think Miami is almost – they're not tapping out, but Florida State has asserted themselves as that number 2 in this recruitment. And so if somebody's going to flip him right now, the Seminoles would be that team. I just don't see that happening. Texas was too good with this weekend. They everything they needed to ask and was answered. Everything kind of all those little boxes kind of got checked. And so Derek Cooper coming in was a big deal.
Before we keep going, got to show some love to Game Time. My family actually just used Game Time to get some Mississippi State tickets. Also had a friend who lives up in D.C. ask me where should he go to get tickets, and I recommended him Game Time. Told him about that promo code ON3. Get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. This is the best way to go get tickets. You see what the view will look like from your seat. You'll have an all-in price, so you're not surprised by fees at the end. And they also have a bunch of different promotions and other aspects that help them be the best ticket service. So, again, go to gametime.co or download the Game Time app. Use promo code ON3. And get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. The best way to get tickets. Justin, what time is it?
It's game time.
We'll do one more player who made his way, another commit who made his way to the 40 acres. And Justin, this was when we were tracking a little bit of different news on last week when it comes to Corey Wells. We had heard that a lot of the buzz involved the Auburn Tigers. I think you and I you put in a pick for sure for him to maybe flip to Auburn.
Yeah.
We were expecting some news to drop last week. It never dropped. Nope. And then he ends up on the 40 acres. So doesn't seem like this one's over. Good way for Texas to kind of reestablish their position with their commitment. But at the same time, this feels like one where things got tenuous kind of quick.
Yeah, we caught up with Corey right after the game, and this was an interesting, development because we knew he was coming in, but, like you said, everybody was pretty much preparing for him to flip to Auburn. And if you don't know the story, he's got a brother, same age, linebacker, edge type prospect, 3-star, pretty good little prospect. Auburn, Texas has offered a PWO, preferred walk-on spot. Auburn is offering NIL money and a scholarship. And, buddy, that is significantly different. And so that's one of the reasons we kind of thought, because Ole Miss is in this too. Ole Miss and Auburn are both trying to flip this cat. And so him coming in was good. He gave us the customary quotes, Texas feels like home. He thought the atmosphere and everything was a lot of fun. He loved the light show and things of that sort. But this recruitment is not over. Not by any stretch. I would not be shocked to see Corey pop up in Auburn in the next few weeks or Ole Miss in the next few weeks with his brother Chris. Texas is going to hang on here. They can afford to lose one D lineman in this cycle, and I don't feel like they want to. And if you look at Corey Wells' upside, you don't want to lose this guy. This. There's a reason they took 4, and there's a reason he's one of them. But in this recruiting era, that family tie sometimes can be very strong. And when you're offering the brother a scholarship and NIL, I mean, you'd almost feel silly to turn it down. But I think Corey remembered why he committed to Texas. Like, he sees a bigger picture there. And so for now, the Horns are hanging on to him. Ask me again in another month. This update may be different.
You talked a little bit about the class that they have: Dylan Berryman, Corey Wells, Vodney Cleveland, and then James Johnson. They reestablished with Cleveland and Johnson. Not that they were in a bad spot, but teams are going to come after those players, obviously. They were on campus a couple of weeks ago. Dylan Berryman made a visit, I believe, this past weekend or a couple of weeks ago.
This weekend.
But he's going to be heading to Ole Miss soon. From Ouachita Parish and Monroe, which, okay, it's in Louisiana, but it's not really dedicated. It's not like a home territory for LSU in an odd sense. So he's going to go see the Rebels, and, Texas is just going to have to deal with their defensive tackles taking visits and seeing other places, it feels like.
Yeah, look, it validates that you recruited and got a guy that everybody likes. That means he can play. But I think this is his second visit to Ole Miss, right? And within a month. So, hey, I guess the evil, well, maybe not say evil, but the other Sark in Ole Miss is recruiting him hard, and Lane Kiffin. And, I mean, for good reason. I understand why he wants to go visit Ole Miss. It's a good time when you go up there. But Texas just has to hold on to this one, or try to at least. But just like everybody's recruiting him, Texas still in contact with one of the best defensive tackles in the nation, Jamian Winfield. So recruiting never stops. If you take one, I go take somebody else. That's just the way it works in this game. And so that's why you never stop recruiting until kids sign at the end of the day, because you just never know how it may shift towards the end of a recruitment for a kid. So always continue to recruit, just like you always continue to sell and try to close them. And if you can keep this guy in the class, then great. But I'm sure that's the goal of Kenny Baker and the staff. But if, a kid decides to leave and go somewhere else, then you never put your eggs in one basket anyway.
Hey, until Ole Miss sends Landry Kiffin to Ouachita Parish High School in Monroe, Louisiana, this is not I'm not threatened by the Rebels right now.
We'll see. That's a big rivalry game this weekend. One more 2026 guy to throw at you, Justin. Someone you wrote about earlier today over on Inside Texas. That's Braylon Hodge. He's a linebacker from Cherry Creek in Inglewood, Colorado, same high school as Gunnar Helm, committed to Michigan State. We'll see how long that lasts, because a lot of national powers and even the Buffs are starting to get his attention. Yeah,
so Braylon Hodge is like the West Coast version of Braden Rouse in a sense. They look the same. They play the same. Rouse is a little bit more violent. Texas really likes Hodge, to the point he had such a good time. He's setting his official visit for November now. And so he's going to come in. I actually had a Michigan State guy hit me up this morning, talking about a potential RPM, talking about a potential flip. I figured Michigan was the other team, because he had Michigan was one of his new offers, and he went and visited there the weekend before last. And so I thought, all right, Michigan might be one of these teams that now it's Oregon. Oregon has thrown their hat in the mix, or their bill for a sense in the mix. And now it feels like this is going to be a battle. I can say this. I don't think Michigan State is confident keeping him in this class. I can say that much. I know Texas wants another linebacker. We know how Oregon can insert themselves in any recruitment in the country, especially one that's got kind of a Pacific Northwest feel vibe to it in a way. But you know what? I really enjoy talking to Hodge. He is a quote machine. Sometimes you ask a kid, "Hey, what's this? What's your thoughts on this? What did you think about this?" And you get little sentences sometimes, little blurbs, things like that. Braylon's like Chat GPT. He's like, "Hang on, I got this," and it's like a paragraph, because he's putting something into it. Now I know what Texas sees in this kid, not just on tape but off the field. This kid is cerebral. This kid is smart. He's watching the linebacker play. He's watching the scheme. He's paying attention to things. And again, we know Texas needs another linebacker in this class to go with Tyler Atkinson and Kosi Okpala. That three would be pretty nice if they finish that up with 2026. He'll be back in November for his official visit. I don't think he's going to be committed to the Spartans when he returns.
Yeah.
Part of me is a little curious. Do you think maybe Texas looks at the portal for a linebacker because you signed Bo Barnes and Jonathan Cunningham last year, and Cunningham is kind of a do-it-all but playing a lot of star.
Yeah.
So that's one in that
Cunningham's
class.
going to be a DB.
You've got Atkinson, who's a linebacker. You've got Opala, who maybe is just going to be the Trey Moore position.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know if that's a true linebacker. Anthony Hill is graduating. Brad Spence, or not graduating, going to the NFL most likely. Brad Spence has already moved to edge. Like, in addition to maybe trying to add more and more at linebacker, do you think Texas could look at the portal for a linebacker this upcoming cycle?
Just say so. Hey, is David Benson got any more eligibility up there in Stillwater?
They need a veteran. I think they're going to go for a veteran coach.
Yeah.
Like they got their 2 starters ready-made next year. Anthony Smith and Leon LaFau. They're good there. But you want that David Benda. You want that guy that's brought hat for 3 or 4 years on a college campus on Saturdays. And so I think they will go with a veteran. And listen, that has nothing to do with the development because that room is one of the most developed on this campus. And I think Bo Barnes is actually going to make an impact as a sophomore for this team. I really do. But you got to have a vet in that room. Jalen Ford, a Gary Johnson, a David Benda. You got to have a vet in that room, and so I wouldn't be surprised if they looked pretty hard in the portal in the offseason. I like this Roger question. If you want me to grab it real quick,
we'll get to that. I'm going to go to our other sponsor real quick. Talk to some 2027s, but yeah, we'll hit that question right if we're here from Roback. There's only one way to describe Roback: best fit, best feel. For those who aren't familiar with Roback, they are completely changing the game with their incredibly comfortable activewear. Roback has released so many items within their new licensed game day collection, and it's our favorite. With novel polo designs and clean hoodie and Q-zip designs from some of your favorite schools like Texas, it's definitely worth checking out. Nobody else on the market is pairing these level of custom designs with this quality of activewear. Roback's everyday shorts or their Delta Performance pants are the perfect pairing as well. Both are super comfortable, have an elastic waistband, and great fabric that's made to have the appearance of a nice short look, but the comfort for a day on the move. Roback has also been proudly leading the NIL charge, having signed partnerships with multiple college football stars like Quinn Ewers. They're becoming the go-to brand for college athletes across the country. Use the code TEXAS20 on Roback.com for a generous 20% off for all new customers through the end of this week. That's RHOBACK.com and 20% off all performance polos, shorts, and more with Texas 20. All right, let's get to Roger's question. If Texas was to flip Jalen Lott, would that mean Jermaine Bishop's more likely to play DB than wide receiver? Coach, you wrote a little bit on Friday or Saturday about what Jermaine Bishop did on the field for Willis as a receiver, and that may be tough to – you may not want to take the ball out of his hands if he's doing things like he did this past week.
No. Look, I think you put both of them at receiver. Look, they're both dynamic. If you look at them, they're both the type of guys I can throw a quick bubble screen and they can do the rest. You give them one block, they can go to the house. You look at the roster, how many guys can actually do that? If I just put the ball in your hands, you make everybody miss and go to the house. I think these 2 guys are dynamic and you want them in the receiver room. As far as DB, they both can play DB, but I think they're more so dynamic. You stick them on offense. Texas talking to a corner that I'm actually writing about now, Mr. Jalen Waters. He's committed to Miami. So that's one of the top DB, right? And so you can look to flip another DB or go out to somebody else, but you need these 2 guys in the receiver room, if you ask me, just looking at the roster and the makeup of it.
Just look at the scoreboard the last 4 weeks. That's all I got to see. Jermaine Bishop's playing offense. Yeah. If there was any doubt, it was erased week 1, about the 4th play of the season.
I also think the fact that Grayson Littleton has just grabbed that position, because I think a lot of us talked a little bit about looking at Jermaine Bishop at star. And now, Grayson Littleton has that pretty much on hold this year. We'll see what they do with him in the future. He got to play some cornerback this past week, but you still have Wardell Mack, Jonathan Cunningham again. Maybe you put Bishop at plain old corner, but he seems like someone you just get the ball in his hands no matter what.
Hey, Stark needs to be greedy, okay? Mm-hmm. Because the defense has been getting a lot more of the talent over the last few years in the offense.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sark needs to stand up and be greedy and say, look, Jermaine Bishop, offense. Jalen Lott, offense. We got one of the best defenses in the country. We got to follow that up with some of the best offense in the country. Hey, Jalen, hey, Jermaine, go get to know Arch.
JJ.
We're about to do something big. Be greedy, Sark. Keep these jokers on offense. And you know me. These could be good height. These could be good college wide receivers and great NFL corners. I'm always team corner when it comes to a kid on this. Not anymore. Not after seeing the first 4 weeks of this season. You put those puppies on offense and you put some points on the board.
We'll go real quick into the 2027 class. It's a little odd to think about Texas not having a quarterback commit right now. Their main target is Palestine Westwood's Kavian Bryant. Both of you all have kind of been on this one. Coach, we've seen Texas Tech make a lot of strides, make a lot of waves in DFW lately, especially nationwide. And it seems like, Justin, the Red Raiders are a big threat, but there's another threat, and you can kind of see it on the screen as well, to the Longhorns.
Florida State.
Yeah, Florida State. Always.
Look, Texas wants him. Texas really likes him. But there's two things that are going to get in Texas' way, and one of them is Diabell. Like, they can't get around that. And I get it. They want a clear path to the field. And we wrote that very clearly this summer, that this is where this recruitment was going. NIL was going to be a factor. And so you got to check the tech box when that oil pump goes up. They're going to be a factor. And then the Diabell factor. Like, I don't think they want to follow Diabell. I think Kavian loves Texas. I think he loves the idea of actually playing quarterback there. I don't think he wants to sit a couple years. And I think that might be probably what at least the vision would be. And so he's going to go to Texas Tech or Florida State. I think it's going to be Tech, because I don't think Tech is going to let him leave the state. They're going to overspend so much to where they ensure they put this guy, and they've already built such a great class in 2027, adding the number one quarterback, the rivals' number one quarterback, that would just complement so much of what they've already built. And so I think this kid's going to Texas Tech.
Coach, you're up in DFW. What do you make of Tech in recent months and in recent weeks? Like, yes, there's the money factor.
Right.
And as, Justin, you mentioned, they're going to have to overspend because Lubbock didn't get any closer on I-20 to the Metroplex. But
they got a Walmart coming and a Macy's.
Our guy Shahan wrote that story. It's like they have a Sprouts. It's like, whoa, a Sprouts.
Wait till they get a healthy market.
Yeah, that's all they need.
You're gonna start seeing some,
And hey, I like West Texas a lot, but it is still getting out there as a headwind for Tech.
Yeah.
Is it in it? But are they finding an advantage in the money game, or is there a little bit more that's helping them out too?
Look, yeah, they look good on the field this year. That's all. But let's just be real about it. It's the money factor. And then when you have a general manager who doesn't mind getting on social media saying, "Hey, I'll overpay. I'll pay you whatever the school is paying you," then they let you exactly know what it's about, right? I think they need T-shirts like the Baylor coaches. Hey, we pay players. It's okay. Everybody does it, but they're willing to do it. They're aggressive about it. And they're really jumping out there in the 27 class trying to, hey, I don't know if they give them blank checks or whatever the case may be, but it's like, come commit to Tech, we'll pay you more than the next guy. And so I think it really plays a factor in that. Of course, and then you can go there and actually play early too. So I think it's I think that's both factors, but yeah, money is definitely the main one.
The one thing, I don't know if the play early thing is still there.
It is because he's a 27. So
that's
he's
true.
2 years away anyway.
27.
Blake would make a great point if he was a 26. He's at 27.
Yeah.
By the time Hammond graduates, Bryant's going to be handed the keys. I'm telling you, this kid's going to Texas Tech.
Yeah, they took a bunch of portal guys this past year, so they'll be graduating now. So these 27 classes see the path to the field.
Their entire defensive line was taken from one portal session.
Yeah. Yep.
Always good talking Texas recruiting. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure you like it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Of course, if you've not done so yet, go to InsideTexas.com. This is the first link in our description. Sign up. Join Inside Texas. Get the best Texas Longhorns intel. Join the best Texas Longhorns community for just $1, and we'll throw in a full year of access to the Athletic as well. So, Justin, Charlie, thank you all so much. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Recruiting Intel on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel.